Hello and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you my thoughts and initial feelings on some newly revealed images of the next Voyager class assortment to be released for the Transformers Studio Series toy line. Of course, these latest images include the Voyager class long haul, as well as the Voyager class KSI boss. Initially, I did have the in-packaged images for these particular figures quite some time ago, however, I was waiting for the official images of them in both their robot modes and their alternate modes in order to give you a more detailed and further analysis into these new releases. As always, we'll start off with the hot topic of this particular releases, which I believe to be the KSI boss. Here we have an official image of the KSI boss in his robot mode as he will appear when he is eventually released. As you can see, this is a direct repaint of the Transformers Voyager class Nitro figure that we got as part of the Transformers The Last Night toy line. As you can see, I definitely think that the new paint applications on this particular figure are a vast improvement over the original version. He appears to have been given a much more premium paint deco, with the majority of the robot mode being picked out in this really nice premium silver paint. His repaint kind of reminds me very much so of the Cogman. The original Cogman from The Last Night was in a very dark, very drab type of grey, and then was subsequently repainted as part of the Studio Series and was given a much more silver premium paint deco, which definitely amplified the overall look of the particular figure. In this instance, with Nitro, I definitely think that the same strategy has been applied, as the silver paint really helps to pop some of the sharper details of the sculpt and make him appear to be a more visually interesting character. Now, where one of my major faults with this particular release occurs is within the head sculpt. This head sculpt is completely inaccurate to how the KSI boss looked like in the Age of Extinction movie. Considering Nitro was actually able to have his head removed in order to implement Cogman's head onto him, it was such a shame that Hasbro have opted to go the lazy route and literally just repacked the Nitro head sculpt instead of giving us a brand new sculpt. If they would have given us a brand new head sculpt, much like we saw in the movie, I definitely think that it would have helped to amplify the overall look of this particular figure and would have made it a lot more distinguishable and much more accurate to the movie. Another thing which I'm a bit annoyed to see is the fact that they haven't remolded one of the arm sections. As you can see when comparing this to the piece of concept art, the KSI boss actually has this kind of electricity type of effect going on with its arm, so it would have been great to see them perhaps have remolded the lower arm section. It really wouldn't have cost that much, and seeing as they are literally just reusing a previous mold, I definitely think that this is something that could have been done. Taking a look at the figure in his jet mode, there really isn't much to say here, considering that in the movie the KSI boss never actually transformed, so we don't necessarily know which vehicle mode it would have obtained if it did actually transform. However, nevertheless, this jet mode does look fairly okay. I do really like the silver paint applications, specifically in the cockpit section. However, the wings have been cast in this really kind of almost bluish grey type of plastic, which I don't necessarily think looks too bad, and I do think that the silver paint and this kind of darker plastic do contrast very well. However, I would have definitely have liked it to have been a completely silver jet, as that definitely would have given this figure the ultimate premium finish. Nevertheless, it does look definitely a lot better than the Voyager class Nitro that we got as part of the Last Night toy line, and I guess if you really wanted to, this could actually replace your Nitro figure in your Transformers 5 display, seeing as this is definitely a vast improvement within the paint job, and considering it is exactly the same mold, you would essentially get away with it being accurate. Now, turning to the in-packaged image of the figure, here is yet again where I have more gripes with just the overall laziness of Hasbro. As you can see, it is packaged just like all of the Transformers Studio Series figures, and I am a massive fan of the kind of packaging display layout that they have for these figures. However, with Nitro, you can clearly see that his backdrop is in fact the same backdrop that we got with the Deluxe Class Stinger, KSI Sentry, as well as Grimlock. It really would have been great to have perhaps got the KSI facility, where we predominantly see KSI boss kind of transform when Galvatron awakes. That definitely would have been great and would have made this figure slightly different from some of the previous releases. And another thing which is probably the most laziest piece of artwork that I've seen on any of the Studio Series figures is the artwork that they've displayed on this particular box. Now, what's wrong with this is the fact that this is actually Nitro Zeus from Transformers The Last Night. Now, I have no idea why they've actually put this particular piece of art on the KSI box, seeing as they actually have the KSI boss's CGI render on file, as they actually used that CGI render for the Nitro figure that came out 2 years ago. Why they did this, I have no idea. Perhaps this is hinting towards a possible release of a Nitro Zeus figure, and if that is the case, I really do hope that that figure is a brand new mold. But nevertheless, this is once again a really lazy move on Hasbro, and I really hope that they correct this for future releases. Now, turning to what is sure to be the standout out of the Voyager figures from this particular wave, here we have Constructicon Long Haul. Now, this is a figure that I have covered extensively with all of my talk videos, seeing as this figure was actually shown way back last year in October. Why it's taken so long to release, I have no idea. My only thought process behind this is that Hasbro really wants want to prolong the release of the Constructicons, so fan excitement is kept fueled for the eventual release of the Studio Series Devastator. When you collect all of the Constructicons, you will be able to form that big behemoth figure. But nevertheless, getting back to long haul, this figure looks absolutely fantastic. I love all of the details on it, as well as the proportions. I think the proportions are just absolutely fantastic. He's really bulky, and he just looks really, really awesome, particularly when compared to the CGI render from the movie. They've really done a tremendous job of this particular release, and I really hope that the articulation is up to par, as seeing how bulky he is, perhaps he is slightly hindered. However, judging from this image, he does seem to have thigh swivels, ankle pivot, and some really deep knee joints, so perhaps he does have some great articulation. I'm not entirely sure whether they'll cram in a waist joint, but that's neither here or there. This figure looks fantastic, and I really can't wait to pick him up on his eventual release. Turning now to the figure's alternate mode, there really isn't much to say here that I haven't said already before. I do think that this looks great. As I stated, originally I didn't think that this was as accurate as the original Revenge of the Fallen Voyager. However, upon comparing this to the actual vehicle that was used in the movie, I can confirm that the Studio Series version is 100% accurate. If I had any gripes with this particular vehicle mode, it would be that I wish the truck bed was perhaps a flatter surface. As you can see, you can just about make out the hands. It does look slightly untidy, which is something that the original Revenge of the Fallen figure may or may not actually be better of. I can't really see it in great detail in order to really analyze it. However, this figure does transform into 3 limbs, so that if that is the case, then it isn't as good looking as the Revenge of the Fallen version. It definitely won't be something that I'm too bothered about. Finally, taking a look at the in-packaged image of Long Haul, once again there isn't too much to talk about here. The figure looks just as good in his packaging as he will appear to look out of it. You can make out that the backdrop is in fact the pyramid diorama that we've got with Rampage, as well as scrap metal. The only thing you can really tell with this in-packaged image is that Long Haul will actually be quite a small Voyager when compared to the other figures, as he doesn't fill up the clamshell as much as, say, the Optimus Prime figure nor the Megatron. However, this is accurate, as Long Haul was definitely quite a short and did appear to be quite a stubby looking Decepticon in the movie, so I don't really have too many problems with that. And just as long as it scales well with Rampage, as they are actually going to be very similar in size in terms of their limbs, I'll be happy with that. The CGI render looks absolutely fantastic, and this figure overall will definitely be one to add to your collection. So there you have it. Those are my thoughts and analysis on the new and upcoming Voyager class figures as part of the Transformers Studio Series toy line. Of course, out of the two, Long Haul is definitely by far the best out of them all, and is definitely superior over the KSI boss, as it's not just a direct repaint. Long Haul looks great in both his robot mode as well as his vehicle mode, and I really can't wait to see what he looks like in his third Constructicon mode. KSI boss, on the other hand, does definitely look nice with that new silver premium paint deco. However, I would have much preferred it if they would have given us at least a brand new head sculpt and just remolded the arm section. It would have been so easy, considering they've already released this as for Thundercracker. They really could have definitely have made some improvements to the mold, so that we were not just buying this for a third time round. However, albeit the paint does look really well on this figure, and considering I am a completionist, I'll be sure to add this to my collection and review both of these figures for you when I eventually get them in hand. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please let me know down in the comment section below, and until my next video, I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.